Ladies and gentlemen, the yelling and screaming you hear is from the Lake Erie Elite. They're ready to duke it out with QC Boston, the champions of U.S. Quidditch Cup 9. Ready to roll here. A lot of people in attendance, people making their way over here. It's QC Boston, highly hyped to do what they did last season. They made it to the Elite 8 last year and were eliminated by, believe it or not, a team that's very close to their hearts. A lot of their former teammates of the Bosnian Bear Sharks, who got that win earlier here on pitch 1 versus the Nomads, eliminating the Nomads from bracket play. Lake Erie Elite and QC Boston, who is in a rough situation. QC Boston loses this game, they're done. And hopefully we got this figured out. Before the game started, there was a question of whether or not we had a snitch, which is kind of paramount to playing Quidditch. Kind of important, wouldn't you agree? Just a little bit. Worth 30 points, but important 30 points because there's no more points scored after the snitch.
Did Lee and QCB face off in pool play at all?
This is still pool play, technically. No. Wait, hold on a second. I gotta check this. Make sure this is correct, because as far as I know, this is still pool play. Although I'm not very smart, so I wouldn't listen to me. White pantsuit, Kanto, in attendance here with his cleat song, one of the more renowned refs for his attire. QC Boston lined up here. Jake Archibald, highly hyped as a keeper there, formerly of Team USA 2016. Trying to be a member of Redeem Team. And we got a false start right off the jump. Who is it going to be? It's going to be on a beater for Lake Erie Elite. He's going to be to the box. So guess what? Bludgeon Control is probably going to QC Boston. It is a 1-minute false start blue card, according to Kanto.
Giving up that bludgeon control early is going to be detrimental.
Quaffle play, going to go to QC Boston. He knocked it back, and Jake Archibald has it. He's got his cutter gloves on today, probably because the effects of the wind he saw yesterday, and a quick sub. Behind the hoops, cutting inside. QC Boston looking for their first goal here, but Tyler Walker, one of those elite beaters, hard to stop. Jake Archibald going to get away from, that's not Jake Archibald, sorry about that. A nice tackle attempt up front by Lake Erie's number 10. Behind the hoops, they go to Jake Archibald. He goes up front, and a quick shot, no good. It's deemed short, and underneath the hoop, QC Boston going to deflect it back.
Tyler Walker's one-person bludger army, dodging a bludger there, getting that bludger back.
Tyler Walker, one of the big members of Quidditch Media, he's actually running to make sure that his team maintains bludger control, and he's going to work one of those bludgers back and get a beat up front, and he's actually just killed a penalty. So now Lake Erie Elite going to kill some time, and they'll have bludger control here in just a second, and now they'll be on the attack. That blue card penalty that's killed off. Point chaser beat up top on the attack. Number 12 on the way. No Andrew Axtell out there just yet. Now on the attack, and a finish on the little hoop. A truck of Jake Archibald and a bucket for the Lake Erie Elite.
Lake Erie were able to hold off QCB's offense and regain bludger control, starting off at a disadvantage from that false start.
And 8 versus 9 in this bracket play here. Winner will face off against Texas Cavalry. I'm sure QC Boston would love a second shot at Cavalry, a team they lost to earlier in day 1. And caught some hesitation from their point chaser up there. An errant shot by QC Boston, although that was the general idea. When you fake that handoff, you get a little bit of separation. You get your defender in trail position, and it gives you openings that you can take for shots up front. Lake Erie Elite working on corralling QC Boston within their own keeper zone, and now a fight for a bludger. Tyler Walker gonna fight for it, complete that one. The only bludger loose in Lake Erie. They said 20-10. 20-0, sorry. They'll have one bludger though, so control will lie with QC Boston. So a good exchange there, buckets for bludger control.
Harry
Greenhouse, yeah, Harry Greenhouse.
Yeah, looks like
one of the great ones in Quidditch. Team USA, bounce pass from Archibald to Greenhouse. Coming off the side over here, waiting for an attack, and when he attacks in, and looks like a great tackle attempt up there by Lake Erie. Now jumping over a bludger and a attempted shot, A nice recovery behind the hoops. 20-10, Tyler Walker going to sub out here. Let's see what the change is going to look like for Lake Erie Elite when the second line comes in. Another change at Chaser as well. There he is, Andrew Axtell. One of the starters typically for Lake Erie Elite going to enter the game. See how that changes the defensive alignment for QC Boston. Right now, they got a bludger essentially cutting the field in half. Over the top, one beater's down, another throw on the way, dodge that beat, two bludgers on polar opposite sides of the field, and the QC Boston beater not having an idea where to go just yet. Lake Erie Elite coming off the side over here, a tackle attempted by QC Boston, forces the pass to Axtell. Can he finish? He does not get hit by that bludger, so Lake Erie Elite are still going to be at full power. As a matter of fact, they might have bludger control here in a second. One beater is down. They hang that beater out, their secondary beater, right near the hoops, so that you can't make those long passes into and try to score. A throwback and a 1.5 from Lake Erie. A throw over to nobody. This is going to roll off pitch. Greenhouse is going to recover this one in front of the our broadcast booth over here. A tackle from behind the hoops, and a goal's good for QC Boston. They tie it up just like that.
Erie making some more adjustments here. Seems like they're trying to change up the strategy, trying to find something that's gonna work.
Marissa Enos into the field of play at the beater position. It looks like control is going to go to QC Boston again after an errant throw up front. Marissa and her partner are going to be down. QC Boston going to get a defensive stop, and now Jake Archibald's out in transition as the beaters look to go get bludgers. Can the Chasers get a stop? A tip of a floated pass towards the mid-hoop and a trip up of Andrew Axtell looking for a call. He won't get it.
Seems like there's a lot of hustle going on, a lot of frequent subs being used by Lee. QCB, on the other hand, seems to have mostly kept the same team since the start.
New keeper into the game, formerly of the Michigan Wolverines back in the day, number 11. Burner. And bludger control still being held by QC Boston. Going up top to help and create some pressure. And now they're going to switch positions. Lake Erie Elite going to force an attack from behind, which would typically trigger a rotation either to the opposite side of that beat or to the same side of that beat, most likely to the opposite. QC Boston with a beat up top off the shoulder of Andrew Axtell. Another fast break run. Greenhouse over to 85 and a score. QC Boston takes the lead.
Third bludger is nowhere in sight currently.
It's in front of the QC Boston bench, and Jeremy Hoffman's going to have to run quite a ways to come recover that one. Nobody going to contest him on that. Let's see if he tries to attack from behind against the beater formation. Right now, QC Boston's beaters side to side here, meaning they're basically splitting the pitch in half. So if you rotate to the left, they'll hop up front. Right now, and it looks like there's going to be a beater exchange, a ball thrown backwards after a beat. Let's see if Hoffman is going to use his one bludger to try and make that throw on Lake Erie. No, there's going to be a slip from the beater and a turnover for QC Boston, but it's going to be protected by their one bludger. Jeremy Hoffman puts his fist up for immunity from the other beaters because it is the only bludger that does not belong to QC Boston. He's able to recover it. Thrown up front and a miss on the beat, but let's see if Lake Erie can take advantage of that miss. No, Axtell's going to be stalled out behind the hoops. He's going to make a slow pass from behind the hoops because his power is killed off the tackle, and Jake Archibald's on a run. Will he take that shot or will he go for the dunk up front on Barnard and a finish? QC Boston up 40-20. They need this win just as badly as Lake Erie Elite. We're into bracket play.
The errant throws by beaters right here are kind of costing them on those fast break returns.
And like you said, the errant throws not only costing them bludger control, which QC Boston dominates defensively in because they've got two essential point chasers up top. And not only that, now you can see the two beaters for QC Boston are lined up directly on top of each other. Almost like a last line of defense there, and a throw backwards And another throw. Both beaters are beat for QC Boston. Axtell's going to be taken down, though, just outside the keeper zone. Greenhouse driving him into the ground. A throw behind the hoops and a throw back up top. Barner's going to be taken down on a nice tackle in front of the keeper zone. And QC Boston fighting for the ball. They have it in the keeper zone. Lake Erie Elite is trying to wrestle that ball away. They're going to need a beater to come over and clear that out. And QC Boston cracks Lake Erie Elite with back-to-back tackles. There is an advantage call, though. Hold on a second.
It appears that there was actually what happened was there was a bludger foul in that Aaron Marino was beat and then she threw it back. And Jeremy Hoffman had the ball, but he didn't return that bludger that was
gotcha.
back.
Sending a beater to the box is almost guaranteed points, especially at this level of Quidditch, without anybody to defend. I know Lake Erie Elite's got some pretty tough guys up front, but Jake Archibald, with the versatility in his game, usually finds a way.
It is a bludger turnover.
It's going to be a bludger turnover to QC Boston, and guess what? The other bludger's right on the verge of their keeper zone. They already have two of them to begin with. They're probably going to beat Barnard on his way back.
Terry Greenhouse having that quaffle is going to give him a wide open start for.
And he's going to get a running start here. Will he be stopped? It's going to take a chaser to come up and step up on him, and it will not happen in enough time. As Lake Erie Elite, Jeremy Hoffman trying to get a tackle going. He gets beat in the face, and Lake Erie's going to be down to chaser. I'm sorry, down to beater. And Jeremy Hoffman, I think, is trying to say that QC Boston tripped him up as he was trying to go to trying to run down one of those loose bludgers.
Tyler Walker entering back into the game.
Eric Wasser into the game as well. So far this season, 19 of the 27 Lake Erie Elite wins have come versus teams that made it to nationals this year. So pretty high strength of schedule for them. Quaffle deflected by Axtell. Oh no, they're going to call him beat at the last second, and Axtell is livid as he's running back to the hoops, and the crowd is going to boo on that, but it looks like it was a clean deflection from up top, and Lake Erie Elite's going to take a shot, and Jake Archibald's going to run down that miss.
Watching just the beater play between QCB and Lee right here is amazing. The constant fakes and dodges.
Tyler Walker deflects two bludgers. Hold on. They're trying to ask if Tyler Walker is playing illegally. He's going to get called for that card. The first bludger he dodged, and they're going to say he got hit on the calf on the second one, and that will make him eliminated. He played through a beat. Hopefully they don't give him, and QC Boston catching another break.
Definitely some.
They're going to give they thought they were going to just send him back to hoops, but it looks like Tyler Walker is going to receive that blue card. That is really late to come in on that one.
The fans are not happy with the outcome of that.
And you have to argue when you're talking about beater play, and if you think Tyler Walker's trying to cheat out here, Tyler thought he was beat, and if he didn't hear it, that's kind of on the refs, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Jake Archibald with the deflection to Greenhouse, and Greenhouse yanked down out of the sky, and the quaffle belongs to Lake Erie Elite. Barnard slips up on a pass, and it looks like it's a turnover to QC Boston. On the attack, one of the bludgers is off pitch. Canto's going to put it back on the soft boundary so somebody can pick it up. QC Boston going to run and get that one, and another score. Hold on a second here.
Here's there was an advantage play. Most likely it's going to be a turnover for Lee.
Lake Erie Elite seem to be getting caught up and trying to get back into this and trying to fight their way back into this one instead of playing their own game. There is a blue card. It's an elimination game, so everybody in attendance here is a champion 2 years ago. They're going to call the goal no good from QC Boston.
And having QCB down a beater and Tyler Walker about to enter back into the game.
Yeah, Tyler Walker checking on his time left on the score, checking on his time left on his penalty here in a second, and QC Boston just having one of their star beaters put into the box. This could be Lake Erie's time to strike.
This will definitely be, this is definitely that turnaround time. And it does appear there is a bludger turnover as well, with the other bludger at hoops right for Tyler Walker to get.
This is a time prime and ready for Lake Erie to strike. The goal will, of course, if it is scored by Lake Erie Elite, will negate the penalty for QC Boston's beater in the box. Rotating over to the right-hand side. They're trying to kill this penalty time and get Tyler Walker back in here before they try to engage on offense. Greenhouse actually stepping up before they come across half pitch. He's going to get the handoff to Barnard. Barnard, a big guy up front. When he's out in transition, out in space, not many guys are going to be able to come up and stop him. Tyler Walker is back into the game. And he's got a bludger waiting for him. And it's time to watch Walker try and wreak havoc.
Harry Greenhouse gets beat here.
Beater's going to be forced to back all the way back up to the keeper zone here. There's only one in for QC Boston. A float behind the hoops is going to be no good. And QC Boston, wow, has successfully killed the penalty just like that. Back into the game, back at full strength. And they're going to need a beat over here as Greenhouse is wrestling away from one of Lake Erie Elite's beaters. She has to release the quaffle. Her team has already tracked back on defense. Well, a good hustle from her, giving them a chance to not only rest, but on top of that, get in proper positioning on defense.
Lake Erie seems like they have a strong setup right now. Slightly staggered beater offense, beater defense as well.
And now they're going to shift it. It looks like Tyler Walker is very aware of what QC Boston is trying to do. They're trying to trigger a start an offensive attack from behind so they can get the ball behind the hoops and force a throw up front.
It was also a great play by Aaron Marino in timing the touch of the ball and to get taking out both of the beaters there.
Right. And Barnard looks like on that play, QC Boston just punted that one away essentially to get back on defense and be effective. Tyler Walker and Lake Erie Elite have bludger control. Barnard's got a defender on him. He won't need any help there. And Lake Erie Elite wins both of the beater battles, but can they win the score battle? They will. They're out in transition. Hold on. They're going to call him back here for just a second. Tyler Walker trying to maintain bludger. Tyler Walker's trying to get back into this one. He's got a bludger. And looks like Julia's trying to come up with something here. A lot of these players for Lake Erie Elite are part of the Indianapolis Intensity who made it to the MLQ Championship this past summer. Another goal for QC Boston. Tyler Walker going to get the ball, a sub coming in, and it's going to be Marissa Enos. Tyler Walker going to beat Terry Greenhouse as he's trying to creep towards the ball keeper. The ball carrier coming up.
Oh, and that gets bludger control by bouncing off of QCB's own player.
Yeah, too high up the pitch, and that deflection gives the ball, gives that second bludger back to the Lake Erie Elite. QC Boston is going to give up a goal and bludger control. That is a terrible turn of events. And Jake Archibald's trying to argue something on the sideline there, and I don't think Canto's going to hear what he has to say. Question is Greenhouse about to sub out here in a second? That could really change this up. Doubt he's going to sub out in such a tenuous time during the game. He's trying to gain some separation from his defender by using that arm and fully extended out. Back up top. Looks like he's got a screen. Oh, it's a gang tackle from Lake Erie Elite. Turn back into it, and a steal for the Lake Erie Elite in a beater situation. Looks like they can attack in transition. They're going to get it up top, and Lake Erie about to turn this game on its head. A beater ball up front. Tyler Walker has the third one up front. Now attack. Let's see if they can get the goal to go along with it. A shot and a finish for Lake Erie.
It does also appear there's a
late tackle. Oh, somebody's down.
That was terrific beating play by Lake Erie there. And not only maintaining bludgers, but also taking out the beaters.
Right. Timely and efficient. When Lake Erie is running at full tilt, they are near unstoppable. They have plenty of chasers to burn.
And actually, I was in contact with one of the players on Lake Erie Elite, Aaron McDonald, who's a beater for their team.
Aaron McDonald was my first ever Quidditch practice. She was the nicest person to me when I was falling off my broom and could not catch. She was very nice about it, and I always appreciate Aaron. Hopefully she's watching this game somewhere.
Yeah, she informed me that she is here today, and one of the interesting things is that she actually said that they emphasized on bringing more chasers to this tournament.
Yes.
Which seems to be working out well for them.
No doubt about that, as Lake Erie Elite pulls from a lot of Pennsylvania area players, and on top of that, some Michigan-born guys, as they've got Barnard on the team as well. They got K-Pack out there, Christina Packard, Michigan State alum, Matt Dwyer, the other Matt Dwyer. the other Matt Dwyer. There's Matt Dwyer for Kansas, and there's Matt Dwyer for Lake Erie Elite.
It does appear that Tyler Walker is off broom.
And they're going to say Tyler Walker's off broom. This is
And
the
a
second
bludger
time.
turnover.
There's a bludger way back here. If you're looking at the camera angle, there's a bludger in the Lake Erie Elite territory, and it's pretty far from everybody except number 28 for QC Boston. She's going to run for that one, but Marissa Enos is going to throw hers back, and she's going to actually beat the QC Boston beater. And guess what? Tyler Walker's off broom, but bludger control live with Lake Erie Elite.
Lee's definitely gaining momentum, and they're definitely gaining energy. Their sideline's pretty
Tyler
engaged.
Walker hops over a bludger. He's going to get one from Marissa, who's been doing a great job on recovery. A tipped pass and a great beat from Tyler Walker, and it's a turnover.
Full crossfield snipe there.
No doubt about that. In between the hoops there. That's some elite level accuracy. And like you said, you mentioned those chasers. They're turning it around here. A new group in here. Jeremy Hoffman out there as well at the beater position. Jeremy's first run out there was really him trying to gain back one bludger. He's going to be beat on the back, and now QC Boston's going to throw some beater pressure up front, throw it over two, and just before crossing back in for that one possible reset that Lake Erie Elite as they tiptoe across that line to the midline. It's very similar to a backcourt violation if you were allowed 2 backcourt violations instead of just one like you are in basketball. Lake Erie Elite on the backside of the hoops there. QC Boston willing to give up a ton of free space. A shot taken, hits off the bottom of the hoop, and it's going to be a beat by QC Boston. They have been defending that keeper zone, forcing those shots from a ton of Lake Erie Elite players, and now they're going to actively retreat. Smart move there, just trying to force the beater to come over and using that time to let everybody get back on defense.
These beaters also were able to keep QCB's beaters at hoops during that whole offensive push.
Exactly, and still, even then, they are still, because QC Boston has such elite level beaters, their precision is on point. Greenhouse gets taken down in a nice beat from across the pitch, right at the hoops before a goal was about to be scored. A near snipe from QC Boston, and the quaffle is up. Axtell is coming around the edge. He's got a tackle on him. His arm is tied up, and they're going to say he got pulled. No card for being pulled from behind. Axtell's going to have the ball loose. QC Boston rolling over the top of a pile, and it looks like it's going to be scooped up by Greenhouse. Hold on, we got a penalty. There's a bludger over here on the left-hand side being fought for, and Greenhouse is going to be stood up. And maybe they're about to call Greenhouse for back contact. No, they're going to restart play. They're going to give the ball to QC Boston.
Lee has their 2 bludgers set up for defense, so it does appear they will be able to.
Tackle on Greenhouse forces a pass right to where the defenders are at, and Jeremy Hoffman misses his beat as the chaser went down, and he actually got beat on the backside of that play, and we got another stoppage. Greenhouse is hurt. And if you saw that tackle on Greenhouse, not only did they have his arm locked up, kind of surprising that he was able to get a pass off that far. His arm was jammed up into his neck, and he still was able to float that over there, but he also got taken down with his arm jammed up, and he couldn't cushion his fall.
Yeah, this is a heck of a physical game between these 2 teams here. A lot of back and forth action as well.
And a very interesting turn of events. Lake Erie Elite up front with bludger control for QC Boston was being dominated. And now they are the ones doing the dominating. Back at it again. QC Boston's got bludger control. Hoffman is the only Lake Erie Elite beater with a ball. He's got to beat up front, and because the QC Boston's beaters are hanging out near the hoops, they're being easily tapped back in after they throw the ball back to the hoops instead of dropping them where they are. And now a throw over. It's a missed throw. This is an opportunity for Lake Erie to get a goal on the board. Hoffman misses his throw. He's running down the bludger, and now in the attack again. It looks like some great point chaser defense, a near tackle, a throw to the front of the hoops is going to be too late. Eric Wasser can't get to it, and now QC Boston looks like they were about to be on a run.
It does appear there was some advantage play on the, and it does appear it was called on the arm, on the hand wrap, as QCB's keeper, or Lee's keeper, was actually being wrapped, so he couldn't move his broom hand at all.
See if they're going to call a grab on the broom. Or maybe they were going to say back contact because of the positioning of where that chaser was when he engaged behind the hoops. They're going to restart play. No call on that one, and QC Boston looks like they're about to get a free run at the hoops here. A score and a trip over Eric Wasser. He's going to get up.
5-7.
Scores 50-70. 50-70. Jeremy Hoffman about to sub out of this game. Gets it to a new beater into the game. And oh, Lake Erie Elite going with a two-male beater front here. Let's see if this changes the game. They got to get one beat up front again, and now attacking for that third bludger.
Seekers are on the line, and Snitch has just been released also.
And the Snitch that we're dealing with here, if you're just joining us, maybe small in stature, but this guy has been all over the place, near untouchable in most cases. He got all the way to handicap 1 in both of his stints here on pitch 1. Sorry, handicap 2, according to my notes. Ready to go to work. A shot from Axtell is blocked. QC Boston's trying to recover. They're in position to do something with it. They throw it back to Jake Archibald. He strips the ball. He gets the ball stripped away. Axtell's on the run. 2 chasers behind him. 3 chasers behind him. Can Axtell finish with the dunk? And he can. In transition, that's 70-60. QC Boston still leads. It's a Snitch range game like you would expect.
Lee just completely dominating with their double male beaters right now.
Double beat Tyler. Oh no, that's actually a miss on Tyler Walker's part. Now trying to get to the Lake Erie Elite Seeker. He's going to get some alone time. Can he pull it off before he gets beat? We'll see here in a second. A reach behind the around the hips, and it's going to be 2 bludgers hit in midair and deflected and hit the opposing beaters that threw it. QC Boston with the dive, and they got a catch. Hold on. Oh, they're going to call it good. They're trying to say that he had both hands around the Snitch. That doesn't matter unless the second hand impeded the movement of the Snitch.
The refs are discussing it now.
If this is the case, this is a Snitch range game, so whoever catches wins.
The fans are now chanting 2 hands on for that catch.
And they're going to try and say the catch is no good and play will continue. They're going to say the Snitch's movement was impeded by the grabbing of the chaser from the seeker of QC Boston. It's still a 1-goal lead, and Snitch on pitch play just began. Lake Erie Elite's got a seeker out there. Their seeker, number 39, is beat. Let's see if they can get a beat on him. They will. Bludger control with QC Boston with Snitch on pitch. 3 bludgers are down. Tyler Walker picks up 1. The other one was thrown back a little late, but now bludger control to Lake Erie Elite. Can they maintain it is the question. Tyler Walker misses his beat way off pitch. And now QC Boston's got a Snitch who, well, they both just got pulled off. Brew McColl is good. They're going to call that good. Lake Erie Elite has tied this up on the scoreboard while the Snitch is still being sought after. Tyler Walker beat on the back. QC Boston has all 3 bludgers on the ground. Lake Erie Elite desperate to come up with a win. They just missed on the Snitch throw, and now Lake Erie Elite's beater, the Snitch, is falling down. He's going to get 3 seconds to get after he gets back up.
A hard hit to stop the offensive drive by QCB.
And Barnard's got a hand on it. He's trying to work his hand around it to try and yank it out using his arm force instead of his hands there. And now Lake Erie Elite is going to have the pile cleared out for a second. They're going to tap back into this. The referees are down on the ground making sure that this is all a legal play. If there's a camera focus on the scrum, guess what? It's just like yesterday. That scrum is just a distraction. Bludger control, line with QC Boston. This benefits them. A late throw from Hoffman, but they're going to call that in motion of the throw. And a new beater's onto the field as QC Boston's got some alone time with the Snitch. He's down on the ground yet again. Jeremy Hoffman is trying to protect the Snitch at this point, trying to prevent a throw from being had. And wait a minute, 2 balls are down, and control could lie with, and the ball hits the Snitch. Lake Erie Elite going for the win here on the Snitch ball. QC Boston comes in, a beat on their seeker, and Lake Erie Elite had their hand on the Snitch. The scrum is still going on between the chasers. This is all about the seekers right here, and it comes down to who can get that Snitch ball first. Lake Erie Elite and QC Boston duking it out, and a prevention, another beat up front. The beaters running at 100%. A throw the ball behind the pitch. I think Hoffman miscounted the number of bludgers and threw one to QC Boston.
here now. Lee's blood beaters are dominating this game and getting the top of the
Lake Erie
and there's
Elite's
a
got
pull.
a pull. The Snitch was on his way down, though. If he was on his way down, that crab will probably be called off.
The most interesting thing is, meanwhile, all that Snitch play is happening, the chasers with the quaffle are still down on the pitch in the exact same position.
They're going to break up the scrum. The chant now one more time. And it looks like the Snitch.
No good.
Are they going to say that the Snitch, hold on, the Snitch is looking for more shorts, I think. Maybe the Snitch ball fell off.
I'm just kidding. You're doing great. Now stop that.
Oh, he's getting some water. Yeah, he's tired.
Yeah.
No doubt.
It's a heck of a game right now.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the drama. Somebody's season ends here in a couple of minutes. Will it be QC Boston or Lake Erie Elite? Lake Erie has turned this game on its head with their beater play and got their chasers in great positions to score, but the quaffle has been, for the past couple of minutes, jammed up in the scrum, and they will choose to put it back into the scrum. It's all about the Seekers now. Lake Erie Elite trying to get one off here, and now an exchange of bludgers up front can control, remain with Lake Erie Elite. Hoffman with a nice move throws one bludger back over to his beater partner up front. QC Boston with a throw. It's missed, and Hoffman is safe. Lake Erie Elite for the grab, and another one! Is it clean? Did Lake Erie Elite just eliminate the champions of U.S. Quidditch Cup 9 and last year's Elite 8 finalists?
There's some talking going on now. Refs are in the huddle. When the decision appears, the catch is.
Hold on a second. The catch is good. QC Boston is eliminated from U.S. Quidditch Cup 11.
Any fans of the potential Quidditch Cup 10 and Quidditch Cup 9 winners rematch will be disappointed here today.
QC Boston out. Lake Erie got a date with Texas Cavalry in a couple of hours. Lake Erie Elite, great performances out there from everybody. QC Boston, man, what they were able to do defensively was quite impressive, especially considering vast majority of that game, their beaters were backed inside their own keeper zone. It really came down to their accuracy, and they did a great job. And you see this happen in Quidditch all the time. When you feel like, as players, you have a situation where you're playing a team that's evenly matched just as good as you feel like it can be tossed up in a coin. That coin is the Snitch. It comes down to your seeker play. It comes down to who's been putting that work in at the seeker role. And it looks like Lake Erie Elite comes up on the good side of the Snitch on pitch situation. Snitch on pitch, almost a totally different game than Quidditch itself when the Snitch is not on the field. The beaters did an excellent job of clearing the path. Started off with QC Boston with control, but at the end of the day, it was a fantastic result from Jeremy Hoffman doing his work out there. Tyler Walker, like a man possessed in the back half of that game to get Lake Erie Elite back within Snitch range, and at one point completely tied. And for the final time here today, well, for the final time in this game, Lake Erie Elite celebrates, and that is it, ladies and gentlemen. QC Boston, champions just 2 years ago, eliminated in the Elite 8 last year versus the Bosnian Bear Sharks, will be eliminated here in the first round of bracket play. I think there's not much left to be said. Got anything else?
No, it was a phenomenal game. Amazing play by beaters all around. I mean, both of the beaters played elite level Quidditch here today.
And one of the best organizations in all of Quidditch, QC Boston, taking that loss to Lake Erie Elite here at U.S. Quidditch Cup 11. Lake Erie will play Texas Cavalry in the next round of the U.S. Quidditch Cup bracket, and they move one step closer to possibly claiming that trophy.